since we're waiting on them to ask their question, what is your
Sure,
thoughts
sure.
about what are your thoughts about Trump deporting Mexicans from the U.S. and yet he's saying that he is going to bring Afrikaners here now from South Africa, and he said this just bugs me a lot because he says that they are being mistreated. I want you to understand something, Brian. People don't look at this because they look at Mandela and they say, oh, he was the president at one time. They don't understand that it was an agreement that took place that for Mandela to become president of South Africa when he did, the Afrikaners still had to control the farmland, the economy, and the money. How how is that just? If you are an occupier, right? If remember that these are people from Dutch descendants, they came and occupied and took the land, and they still, right to this day, they still have communities to themselves, and they control the largest part of the minerals. They control the largest part of the economy, of trade and everything. Why didn't that get any attention? Why, when the people started lashing out, saying, "Hey, listen, this is not fair. We want the land returned to us. We want this." Then the United States gets involved in this and gets butt hurt and say, well, they're not being treated right. Well, how about addressing the problems first, and then once the problems are addressed, see if they're treated fair. They did that with Zimbabwe. They did that, and like on my channel, I got a lot of flack because people were mad at me because I said when it came to Victor Orban, and there was a writing on him saying that he wanted to keep Hungary a majority white and Christian, and I had no problem with that. I said that that's what the culture he grew up in. That's his country. He's representing his people. I have no problem, but you have to apply that. And the United States said nothing, but you have to apply that with everything you're doing to be just and fair. You know, um, I- am just going on a rant because it just it bothered me that Trump would say that occupiers are being treated bad for their occupation, not the
Well,
people that
like
are being occupied.
yeah, well, like I said, we touched on this very briefly when I was on your channel, and I said, why are there a bunch of white people walking around in Africa in the first place? Like, where doesn't anyone ask where did they come from? Why are they there in the first place? At the same time, Trump is complaining about this in South Africa. He's talking about and helping facilitate wiping out all of the Palestinians from their land. That's their land. That's where they've always been from. That's where they're from, and they're being exterminated. So what about that? And then you asked me about deporting people from Mexico, and this kind of links to the whole issue of immigration into Europe. If Americans and if Europeans want people to stop flooding into their country, stop bombing and destroying their country, and they will stay and build their lives at home where they're from and where they want to stay. Nobody wants to just get up and go to the other side of the planet and start over again. Nobody wants to do that unless they're in a rundown, failed state. How did it get that way? And I know a lot of Americans and Europeans blame these countries for that and say, well, they're always backwards. They're always, they couldn't develop on their own. Everything that they build up gets knocked over by the U.S. and before that, European empire. And that is history. That is the history of the world. That is what has led us up to this point. So we have to understand that. With Mexicans in particular, and now there's a lot of people from all over Latin America. Who is turning Latin America upside down and inside out in the first place? Who did that? Why are they coming to America in the first place? And the risks that they face in doing so, why are they willing to take those risks? Why don't they want to stay in their own countries where they're actually from? And again, it's look at the history of the United States, CIA, USAID, NED, destabilizing countries, arming terrorists, narco-terrorists, death squads, The School of America, the Americas, look that one up, and a real eye-opener of what the U.S. has done to Latin America. Look at what America has done, and that's your answer to why they're all there. And if that's the reason why they're all there, is it fair to just throw them back? Why don't you stop burning Latin America to the ground first, and maybe they'll go back on their own? That's a thought. Also, why are I don't really think Trump is serious about dealing with the issue, because the special interests he serves are using these people for cheap labor. It's such a key component of the American economy at this point. I don't think they're serious about doing it. So again, what did he do? Did he really secure the border? No, he did some photo ops with U.S. Marines flying in Ospreys. Marines have zero training securing a border, and Ospreys that have zero role in actually securing a border. It was a stunt. It's a stunt for people who watch Michael Bay movies and are impressed by loud noises and flashing lights. That's what it was, and people fell for it. And he did this his first administration too. And if you look at the statistics, it actually spiked after he did that. And what will the statistics show a year, 2 years, 4 years from now?